game world that unites the best of the classics with the best of the new. This is The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is a world even more than it is a game. It's a state of mind, an experience of adventure. Hyrule is more alive than any other game world that I've ever visited. It's the best of classic games and the best of modern games forged into one. But how often can you tell the same classic story without the audience getting tired of it? Breath of the Wild is the story of the lone hero, the locked up princess, and the big bad that has taken over the royal castle and sent out his minions to torment the land. But anyone who has any experience in storytelling knows that it's not so much about what you tell, but how you tell it. The storytelling takes a step back anyway in favor of exploration, experimentation, discovery, and hidden secrets. This is the best version of the open world concept. You can adventure and explore in any direction and do most things in any order. The story is also hacked up in lovely bits and pieces that you can take at your own pace. Or just ignore it if you want to. I honestly hated open world games until I played Breath of the Wild, and now I love them. On the surface, the world of Hyrule is a game world we've seen many times before. We have the magic forest, the volcanic mountain, the water world, and the desolate desert. But Hyrule feels like a real world, or rather dramatic, fantastic approximation of a real world. In Red Dead Redemption and Horizon Zero Dawn, the game world is the stage where the events of the story take place. But in Breath of the Wild, the stage itself is alive. There's always something to do at any given place, and if you somehow manage to find nothing special to do in a location, you could always take a minute to just take in the amazing scenery, or teleport to another place where there's a lot of exciting things going on. You're always looking for the next shrine or the next tower, ready to conquer a little bit more of the country. There are monsters to fight, treasures to be found, riddles to be solved, strangers to befriend. A lot of the challenges have multiple solutions, so if you like to do things in strange ways or make matters unnecessarily difficult for yourself, this is the game for you. I can only find two weaknesses in the structure of this game, and I don't really think they impact the quality of the game in any significant matter. The first weakness is that Link is not much of a hero and even less of a character. He's just boring and uninteresting. It's not so much that he's silent, but he just doesn't have any character. The contrast to Aloy in Horizon Zero Dawn is striking. Link feels a little bit more like a real person when he gets his lost memories back. And at one point the game even tries to explain why he's such a wooden doll. But it's more of an in-joke rather than something that makes you feel any sympathy for him. The second weakness is that even though I really like the fact that you can go to the final boss more or less anytime you want to, there could have been more enticement to do all the missions in the game first. Defeating and rescuing all the divine beasts feel far from unimportant, but it doesn't quite have the emotional necessity as recruiting all your squad members and doing all their personal missions in Mass Effect 2. The final battle in Mass Effect 2 was also better constructed and more emotional than the final battle in Breath of the Wild manages to be. You really miss having some friends or squad mates at your side at the end of this game. The side missions in Breath of the Wild works just like in a role-playing game, but since there's no experience points in this game, some of them seem a bit pointless. It's kind of like in the first Mass Effect game, where the main quests are taking place in one game, where everything you do is super important. And then the side missions are taking place in a completely different game, where you can take all the time in the world and just roam around as you like. I just wish the whole thing were connected a bit better. But just because Mass Effect 2 did things better than Breath of the Wild in this regard, doesn't mean that Breath of the Wild does it in a bad way. 9 out of 10 missions in the game are joyful and rewarding. But once in a while there is that mission that feels a bit hollow or just doesn't feel connected to the rest of the game. It's not enough to stop the game from being a masterpiece though, since you can just ignore these side missions without a problem. But if a sequel to this game is to have any chance of surpassing the original game, I think this is the area that they should spend their money on. You could also argue that the game is too easy. There's an incredible lot of experimentation you can do with the battle system, the cooking, and the exploration, but you're never actually forced to experiment in order to move on. Most experimentation is done of your own free will, just to see what will happen. But it is a good thing that the game is so open for different kinds of players. The more you give to the game, the more the game will give back to you. A lot of modern games take hours and hours to get started. I'm looking at you, Persona 5. But the first 10 hours of Breath of the Wild are thrilling. Honestly, the opening of Breath of the Wild may be the best 10 hours I've ever spent in a game. The other 90 hours it took me to complete the game wasn't bad either. When the end credits rolled, I've even completed half the side quests or half the shrine quests. So there are lots and lots of entertaining and interesting things to do in this game. Almost too many things to do. The world is big and there are things happening absolutely everywhere. It will take several hundred hours to do everything in this game. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is an adventure in the truest sense of the word. It's the best open world I have ever visited and the best action-adventure game I have ever played. If you love video games, you have to experience this adventure, and then you will love video games even more. The good, magical living game world. Open world done right. An incredible lot of possibilities in experimentation. Lots of things to do all the time. Great storytelling, lovely lively colors, amazing characters, nice puzzles and riddles. The bad. Link is not much of a character. Some hollow missions. When all is said and done, I give The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 10 out of 10. I'm not a big fan of the Zelda series. I quite like The Link to the Past and the Wind Waker, but I never fell for Ocarina of Time like most other gamers did. This game overshadows all of those games. Everything from game world to story to gameplay is done right. But in contrast to games like Portal and Metroid Prime, games that probably will never be surpassed, I believe a sequel to this game may actually have a small chance to surpass this game. But they really have to do everything right one more time for that to happen. And until then, this game will probably still be the best at what it does. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in our next review.